Hello, I'm Liviu Bălan and today I will speak about Gedit preferences. So let's get started. First, as you can see here, I'm having a Linux Mint operating system installed on my Oracle VirtualBox. For better display, I will click on View Full Screen Mode. Then click on the switch button. Now I'm on my Linux Mint virtual machine. As you can see on my desktop, I'm having two files, info.txt, which contains the text that I will use during this tutorial, and sample.txt, which is a plain text sample that will be opened with Gedit in order to show you how I will change the preferences of the Gedit application. Because I don't want to alter the normal behavior of Gedit, I will open info.txt with LibreOffice Writer. To do this, I will right click on the file and choose Open with LibreOffice Writer. Now I will open the sample.txt file with Gedit, and because Gedit is the default text editor in Linux Mint and Ubuntu desktop operating system, all I have to do is to double click the file. Now on my left side I'm having the text that I will use during this tutorial, and on my right side I'm having the sample.txt file opened with Gedit. Now, the first thing that you have to do in order to change the preferences in Gedit is to open Edit Preferences. As you can see, the Gedit Preferences window has opened, and this window will stay opened even if you click on the sample.txt file, or for example if you open a new tab. Okay, the first option that I will speak about is enable text wrapping located into the View tab. To understand better how this option works, I recommend you to check the display line numbers option. As you can see here, even if this text is splitted on 3 lines, only one line number is shown. The reason is that this long text is written on a single line, and what Gedit is doing when enable text wrapping is enabled is to wrap the text on multiple lines relative to the current width of the Gedit window. So if I uncheck the enable text wrapping option, you will see that the text is shown in the raw format as the text were written inside the file. I encourage you not to use this option, enable text wrapping, because if you are a programmer, for example, and if you want to see the real text which is inside of your file, this option is better to be unchecked. If you want to use the text wrapping, what I want you to know is that another option related to the text wrapping is do not split words over 2 lines. If you uncheck this option, you will see here that different parts, different letters of the same words may be splitted on different lines. For example, if I check again this option, you will see that the long word is shown as is, but when I uncheck the do not split words over two lines, the long text, the long word, were splitted into different letters, even if that letters are from the same word. So, as I told you, I encourage you to uncheck the enable text wrapping option. And next I will speak about the line numbers options. The display line numbers, as I shown you earlier, is showing you the line numbers on this sidebar. This is a very useful option and I encourage you to use it. The current line, another useful option, is having the highlight current line option. If I check this option, you'll see that the line where the cursor is marked with a different background and is very useful even if you're a programmer or not. So I encourage you to use it. Another optional option that you may want to use is to display the right margin. This is a guideline and is not changing the content of your file. As you can see, after you enable it, a vertical line is shown here, and what I want you to remember is that the value here for the right margined column is expressed in characters. So 1 means 1 character and 2 means 2 characters. This is very useful if you want, for example, to have a file which will contains a maximum 100 characters width, and you can start modifying the text here manually to suit your needs. But because it's optional, I will uncheck this option. Another useful option is highlight matching bracket. This is very useful, especially if you're a programmer. For example, here on this PHP code sample, by default, when I'm clicking the starting curling brace, nothing happens. But when I'm checking the highlight matching bracket, you will see that on the clicking, when I'm clicking the start matching brace, the end is highlighted, and when I'm clicking the end of the brace, the start is highlighted. The same algorithm is applied when you are clicking another brace, for example here on the start or on the end. So this is a very useful option and I encourage you to use it. The next tab is the editor tab. Here is a very useful option, insert spaces instead of tabs. By default, when you are using Gedit, when you press the tab key, for example press tab and A, here for the tab key, Gedit is inserting a tab character. If you click the insert spaces instead of tabs, what Gedit is doing is when you click the tab key, for example tab and B, instead of inserting a tab character, 8 spaces are inserted. I encourage you to use this option, but instead of tab with 8, change the value to 4. Now, if I click the tab key and C, for example, instead of the tab key, 4 spaces characters were inserted. Also, see that the tab width were changed. What I want you to remember is that when you change the tab width, previous tab width conversions are not made. So here, for example, when you used tab with 8 for a tab, this value will not be converted when you change the value for the tab width. So remember this when you change the value for the tab width. Another useful feature is enable automatic indentation. By default, when you are in Gedit and press the enter key, the default behavior is to enter a new line character and put the cursor on the beginning of the line. When you are enabling automatic indentation, what Gedit is doing is not only to put the cursor on the beginning, is not to put a new line character, but moving the current cursor in order to indent the code. So because I'm using the spaces instead of tabs, Gedit put it here, 2 tabs, meaning 8 spaces. This is a very useful option because, for example, if you are writing scripts, in this case PHP scripts, if you don't use this option, what you will have to do is to press enter, tab, and then let's say echo test2. So you will have to type a number of tabs in order to indent the code. But by using this option, all you have to do is to press enter and then start writing the code. This is very useful, so I encourage you to use it. Another option that you may want to use is to create backup copy of files before saving. Now, if I open a terminal and if I go to my desktop directory and type ls, you will see here that I'm having only 2 files, info.txt and sample.txt. Now, if I check this option and make another change, for example, here I am putting D and save. Now, if I type ls again, you will see that a new file comes up. What this option is doing is that before saving the actual content inside of the file, the content is saved into a temporary file using the same name of the file, but with a trailing tilde. After the save is complete, the content is saved into the original file. You may want to use this option if you want to create backup copy of files before saving, but I don't encourage you to use it because every time you will save the content of the file, for that file you will have a backup copy of that file. So if you want to copy your files into another medium, for example, if you want to copy the content of the desktop directory to a flash drive, for example, you will not only copy the content of the actual file, but you will copy the content of the sample of the backup files also. So you will have to choose the file that you want to copy and so on. So I don't encourage you to use this option. Another option that you may want to use is to autosave files on every amount of minutes. For example, if here I'm putting another if here I'm putting some content and use cut sample.txt, because I didn't save the content, you will not see here the E letter. Okay, what this option will do is to save the content of the file of every n minutes, where n can be changed. You will see that the content of the file were saved or not, because when the file is saved, this mark here will disappear. So after this you will see the content here saved inside of your file. Okay. Next, I will speak about the font and colors tab, and from here you can change how Gedit will look like. My personal opinion is to use the classic theme. Another tab that you may want to use is the plugins tab, and from here you can configure and activate or deactivate the plugins. Okay, meanwhile, as you can see, the sample file were auto-saved. Now if I use cut sample.txt, the E letter appeared here. Okay, so this is how you change the preferences in Gedit. What I want you to know is that Gedit configuration is user specific. So if you have here Gedit configured for this specific user, if you create another user, that user will not have this specific configuration made. So this user, the second user, will have to do it on his own. Okay, now what I wanted to show you next is that if I restart my current operating system, after restarting the operating system, you will see that the preferences applied to Gedit will be saved. And next, what I will do is to remove the preferences for the current user and make another restart. Now, as if I open sample.txt, for example, you will see the changes applied here. The current line, background, the line numbers, and so on. Now, if I open info.txt and choose this option here, you will be able to see the current user Gedit configuration files by using ls ~gconf/apps, and here are the Gedit configuration files. Now, if I remove the gconf directory and if I restart my operating system, the next time when I will use Gedit, no preferences will be applied because the configuration directory for the Gedit application were deleted. Now, if I open sample.txt again, you will see that the preferences that I previously applied are not shown. because the configuration directory were deleted. So this is how you modify the Gedit preferences. If you want to learn more about Gedit, about web technologies, you can check out my YouTube tutorials and also visit my website liviubalan.com. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.